Do you think that the tax devolution in this country is fair? Again, I'm talking about the states from the south who say that it's unfair. I'm coming back towards that. So, do you think that the trajectories are so diverse now, or divergent rather, that we need a new policy on this?
See, considering that a significant portion of your workforce is coming from the north, how do you actually make this statement?
Yeah.
How do you make this statement? Okay, I'll say this. I hope I don't get slippered for this at some point, and nobody throws ink
I
on my
love
face.
the term slippered.
Which is Mumbai is built by Parsis, Sindhis, and Gujaratis to a large extent, with the workforce coming from Maharashtrians to some extent, and from
Bihar.
Bihar,
Yeah.
Uttar Pradesh, and across the board. Who gets to say who has contributed to this? Who gets to say that? Okay. Even today, the better part of Telangana infrastructure comes from Andhra investments and people from a so-called Andhra origin. What do you do then? Coimbatore, the bulk of its businesses are run by Kamavari Naidus or Balija Naidus. I know this. I've studied in the place. I know exactly who Balija Naidus or Kamavari Naidus are. These are people who are remnants of the Vijayanagar Empire. They are generals who have stayed back.
Okay.
Okay. How do you want to make this argument then? Similarly, if you go to parts of Madras, the Marwadis, the Saurashtrians, one of the most well-known singers of Tamil film industry, T.M. Soundararajan, was a Kutchi, was a Saurashtrian, was not a Tamilian.
Okay.
MGR was a Sri Lankan Malayali, not Tamil. Right? Jayalalitha was a Mysore Iyengar. What exactly are you talking about? How do you hope to actually say that this contribution is exclusive to this particular group?
Or the Marwadis of West Bengal.
Correct.
So
You go to Madurai, I remember Srimati M.S. Subbulakshmi setting up a charitable foundation or contributing, I think, a portion of her proceeds to a school run by Saurashtrians in Madurai. So I don't think this helps. This argument doesn't help. Since I'm not a finance or a tax expert, if someone says that this distribution, the way this is happening, doesn't seem to incentivize growth on the part of some people and puts the emphasis on growth on others, that's not an argument I will dismiss. I get that point. Let that be a fiscal argument. Let that be an administrative argument. Don't bring regionalism into that argument.
it is going to happen. This is going to blow up in 2026 with the delimitation exercise. This regionalism.
Politicians will do this. We have to push back. We have to push back.
We bole to kaun?
The common people with voices, I am not going to labor under the impression that I don't have a voice anymore. I do. Why will I actually act falsely modest? I have a voice and therefore I will use it to say this is wrong. Wherever I can push back, I will. Wherever I have good relations with people across political parties, I will tell them don't do this nonsense. I may not be a member and that helps me maintain good relations with people to tell them this is wrong.
So you feel that this fear that the states in the south have, that the delimitation exercise which is going to take place in 2026 will change India's federal balance and to the detriment of south or the southern states?
I'll plead ignorance on that. I don't know. I don't know on what basis that is said. I don't have a position one way or another. If that's a statement that is made for rhetorical consumption without data to back it, I don't know.
It's population, right?
See, here's the thing.
That's going to be the main base.
See, let's put it this way. Synchronized census taking exercise in this country started in 1881. And ever since, there's been a tradition of holding it every 10 years. But it's not a constitutional mandate in that sense. So what happens usually is, you take census, then you go for a delimitation based on the population so that there is a proper representation, so on and so forth. You do that exercise. Okay? If ultimately the southern states are going to pay the price for it, it's largely because they have suffered what I call the curse of white collarization. It's not something that's got to do with what the north is doing or the south is doing. I'll explain this.
That was supposed to be progressive.
At one point, that was actually presented as the goal. Now, world over, we are being told, sorry, we need to produce more. Whether it's Europe or Japan, everywhere else. We are being told this. Europe is a falling civilization, partly because of its aging as well. They don't have the will. There is no genetic will to fight back.
Yeah.
That's a reality.
But it's happening in Asia too.
Correct.
Not just in Europe, it's
China.
happening. Yeah, China, it's happening in Japan.
Correct.
In all.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if you're able to send this larger message, that's a different issue. Or can we try and compensate the southern states in a different way for producing this? But here's what I would suggest. In my view, the southern model, despite its progress on the development front, is not the ideal model from a demographic front. Okay? And sending the cream of your talent to California and then focusing on trying to retain whatever you have here in smaller numbers, that's not how you're going to protect your civilization. Okay? So if I were speaking for the South as a member of the South living in the North, I'll basically say, maybe you should introspect and ask yourself if your model is exactly correct. Is it the right model to follow? Because if that's the case, why is it that you're on the losing side when it comes to the demographic battle? That's the ultimate battle. And if there are members of the North who are willing to take that burden, why don't you think of this as subsidizing them, something that you've failed to do?
It's because of the demographic change that Owaisi's party did so well in Bihar, right?
Thank you for making my point. Thank you for making my point. If I had said that, one more label.
No, but that's it. In the earlier election, he didn't. And this time in the election...
Which are those districts? Why?
Yeah.
What happened there?
Yeah, so earlier they saw Congress as an alternative. They thought that they will give the voice. But that wasn't the case. So a Hyderabadi Muslim can get voters to vote for his party.
His staunchest political opponents at this point will be the Congress and the Samajwadi Party.
Yeah, because he's eating up
He's their replacement.
Yeah, he's tried so hard in Uttar Pradesh, it did not succeed. But
Right. It's a matter
riding
of
on the
time.
victory of Bihar,
Right.
it's going to happen.
100% it will happen.
And it's not just him. There will be another representative soon.
Don't be surprised if Chandrasekhar, Ravan and Owaisi ally at some point. Don't be surprised. There will be a confluence of interests. There are very clear definitions of who is the outgroup, who they wish to oppose and what they wish to oppose. Okay, so that will also happen at some point. So my point is that members of the South should not take pride in their falling numbers. And they should seriously ask themselves, is a decent, healthy demographic at loggerheads with development? The model that you need to bring down your numbers in order for you to have better infrastructure is completely false. I am not pushing for overpopulation, but there is something that Anand recently said in one of his brilliant expositions from the stage, that you have to test the strength of a country's ability to feed its population, not by its overall population, but population density. And he said we are just 7th in the world, which means in terms of overall arable land, if you take the population and the land available for us, we are only 7th in the world. So it's a question of urban planning. It's a question of distribution of population. It's a question of learning how to handle migrant workforce. It's a question of asking yourself, is rapid urbanization everywhere good? Or do you try and provide opportunities for people to stay in their places as opposed to calling all of them to Mumbai and the usual suspects? That is the issue that you must be focusing on, as opposed to saying, how do we bring the numbers down? This is not the time for us to bring our numbers down. Especially when the world is losing its numbers, you have a demographic dividend and you have an opportunity finally in the historic time window to make your presence felt. This is not the time to grow old.
Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching ANI podcast with Smita Prakash.
अगर हम उसको मस्जिद कहेंगे तो फिर विवाद होगा।
The issue is टूटा है क्या भारत?
400 पार का मतलब ये है कि संविधान खतरे में है।
क्या हम लोग ये निर्देश देते हैं कि फला को गिरफ्तार करके जेल डाल दें?
वही तो कह रहे हैं सब।
ये बेबुनियाद निराधार आरोप।
सच्चा सुनना चाहो देखो स्मिता प्रकाश ANI, it does not lie।